What's up, everyone? Thank you for joining us for another Overwatch Odyssey League matchup. Tonight, we have got Cumberland Valley coming up against VTG Orion. Both teams chomping at the bit here, getting ready for tonight's matchup, and I am very excited myself. Commentating tonight with me is the one, the only, Jakey Wakey 19. What's happening, Jakey?
Yes, sir. What's up, Andrew?
Oh, I'm just living the dream. Excited to see this matchup for sure, and I'm ready to get things started. I believe both teams are ready as well. So we will be getting things started off with Control at Oasis. We're just going to verify that the teams are ready. I think I got a little ahead of myself there.
Hey, that's not a bad thing. Showing the excitement for the matchup tonight.
Definitely. And both teams, good teams, looking to see who is going to get their first win. Now, VTG Orion playing just their second game for the Overwatch Odyssey League. However, Cumberland Valley, unfortunately, had to forfeit their first match with some rostering issues, and then coming up against some pretty tough teams, but doing well and displaying some great play. So excited to see what they can bring against VTG Orion and hoping to come away with that first dub. I think this is going to be a very good matchup. Anything in particular that you're looking for, Jakey?
Not really that I'm looking for. I know that we did play, since I am on the Respawn Rangers, obviously, we did play VTG Orion. I think they just kind of maybe didn't get their footing right away, maybe working their way into the league since they were a new team at that point. So I'm excited to see kind of what the changes they made. And Cumberland Valley, haven't seen a lot of their gameplay, but I think they have pulled together their synergy a little bit within those games that they have played. And I'm just excited to see kind of how these teams work with each other.
I couldn't agree more. I know that VTG Orion, they have some new players showing up here. So you were talking about some of that synergy and getting their footing beneath them. Hopefully that doesn't take effect or cause any issues for VTG Orion. But needless to say, I'm expecting a pretty great matchup between these two teams. Seen a lot of really good things from Mr. Kezu for Cumberland Valley. And then Photon Dragon and Zeus both playing really well in their matchup against Respawn Rangers, but unfortunately unable to come away with the win. So I'll be interested to see how things play out in this matchup.
Definitely. And looking at our team comps right now, we got Cumberland Valley coming out with Moira, Sojourn, Tracer, Lucio, and Ramatra. Maybe going a little bit more of the brawl/dive comp. And then we do have VTG Orion coming out with Kiriko, Ashe, Lucio, Reaper, and Ramatra as well. Miles me getting really low right there, right off the start. You see VTG kind of playing this high ground a little bit more. Mr. Keezy trying to get a little poke damage on that backside. MBT getting low. Pillow able to take out Axel. Cumberland Valley does go ahead and cap this point first. Iris taking out MBT, Miles me taking out Mr. Kisu. Photon taking out P-Shooter.
I was definitely good for Cumberland Valley to capture that point there, but unfortunately after they did with that high ground that VTG Orion had, they were able to get it back pretty quickly here.
Overall, I see some really good gameplay right now with VTG Orion focusing certain targets. Getting able to get those picks one by one, knowing who they want to fight and when they want to fight them. You see Photon and Pillow just kind of pushing through right here. Going straight past P-Shooter. Photon does go ahead and get MBT and P-Shooter there. Pillow taking down Mr. Kisu and Zeus taking out Dire Raven. Did see Pillow and Photon there just kind of walk past the Ramatra into their backline. P-Shooter just not able to turn around fast enough. We do see Cumberland Valley taking that same route again, trying to take that high ground from them.
Now Kitsune coming in.
Rush is up. Miles me able to take out MBT. You see that pulse bomb pulled out, but not able to quite get anyone. P-Shooter taking out Iris. Dire Raven getting Photon. Mr. Keese able to finish off Miles me as well. And we do see Pillow get the boop on Dire Raven to push him off the edge. Zeus taking out Mr. Kisu. Pea Shooter taking out Zeus in return. It is just Pillow on point right now. Just trying to hold it till his team can get back. But he is going to go ahead and get out. You see VTG Orion kind of recouping, getting here. Annihilation is popped from Photon. Once again, Pillow and Iris just kind of pushing in as much as they can. You see Mr. Kisu switching over to the Mei. VTG Orion just kind of holding Cumberland Valley down here in this side hallway. An Annihilation popped by Pea Shooter. You see beat drop by MBT as well. Iris able to get 2 there, but then does go down to Axel, and Cumberland Valley does take back the point.
A long way to go in order to come away with this first map here, but you do see Dire Raven and Axel both having ult here, which will come into play. Zeus coming up on Rush, though, so that could also be pretty strong, especially with Photon Dragon on Ramatra and Iris playing Reaper. That could be a pretty powerful combo, even without ults.
Definitely. We do see Mr. Kisu here on 75% as well. They are probably going to have to try and bait out that cleanse in order to get that Blizzard off. You see Mr. Kisu kind of holding the high ground up here as long as he can, trying to push him back down that little stairway. We do see VTG Orion, whole team right there in that little room. There's the Blizzard. Not quite able to get anyone.
Dire Raven able to get 3 off of that Blizzard with them stuck in there is just Aware, and Aware does go down. Cumberland Valley now getting very close to that 100% that they need, and Dire Raven still holding on to ult.
Overall, really good usages on those abilities, not even just the ults. We did see Mr. Kisu get that wall off up top, trapping VTG Orion down there in that room for... And there is the ult pop by Dire Raven. Cleanse does go off, and Iris pops in with Death Blossom. And it's just back and forth on point. It was just Axel, and he goes down. That is a team kill, and it looks like this first round, is going to go to VTG Orion.
I would say definitely great comeback from Cumberland Valley, right? I mean, it was 99-30. They got it all the way up there and just couldn't hold on at the end. So definitely not too far out of reach. I'm excited to see if they make any changes here on their end.
They definitely played well, especially off their abilities and their ults as well, knowing when to use them and when to save them, especially for those last couple fights. We did see in the beginning, they did take point at first, but VTG Orion on that high ground was just a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah. You see Miles Me rocking the Cowboy Bebop skin. What do you think about that, Jakey?
I personally did not get them. I do know a certain player on our team was very excited for these. I myself have never seen it, so I didn't really think much of it. You can hate me in the chat if you want. We do see Mr. Kisu get up top, but then immediately gets pushed back down. Once again, VTG Orion just taking control of this high ground. We do see them hopping down onto point now. Iris able to take out Dire Raven. Mr. Kisu trying to power up that beam. Does take down Photon. Pea Shooter taking down Iris, as well as Pillow. Miles Me able to get MBT though.
And it's Pea Shooter and Zeus. Looks like Miles Me and Zeus are going to try and back out here. And Kizu able to get Zeus in the back line there.
You see VTG Orion just kind of hanging back here, waiting for their team to regroup. Cumberland Valley trying to push up, hold this little hallway right here. Dire Raven is in turret form, just kind of trying to get one pick if he can, but not able to. Photon is super low right now, but they did get the cleanse and getting some really good heals from his team right now. Iris able to take out P Shooter, Zeus taking out MBT. Iris taking out Kesey and Dire Raven. Chasing down Axel, and Pillow is able to finish him off. VTG Orion doing a really good job as playing as a team right there, playing together and being able to play off of each other really well.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think that was a good push, and definitely some great Lucio play coming from Aware. That's something I think Lucio's definitely become a meta here in Season 9, a meta pick, and both teams seem to be playing Lucio very well here.
And it's not even these teams. A lot of our teams in this league do have a lot of really good Lucio players. And chat, if you guys want to see that, be sure to tune into the rest of our matches. You see P Shooter taking out Zeus, Dire Raven getting Photon, and Mr. Kesey taking out Iris. A good pushback coming from Cumberland Valley, able to retake that point.
You see VTG holding on to 4 ults, but so are Cumberland Valley, so it'll be interesting to see whose ults turn out to be more powerful here.
And we do see Photon switching over to the Orisa.
Beat being dropped here early from Cumberland Valley.
MBT just trying to keep his team in this fight, but then we do see Rush and Bob go ahead and get popped right there as well. Iris able to take out P Shooter, MBT getting Iris in return. Miles me taking out MBT. Kisu and Axel taking out Photon and Miles me.
That was a huge shield coming from Mr. Kizu.
Zeus looking real low here. Pillow trying to hold this point till his team can get there. You see Photon switching over to ball in order to make it to point on time. All is popped from Iris, able to get MBT. He's able to take out Iris in return.
That's going to be second map, Cumberland Valley.
I tell you what, Zoran, this is going to be a really good matchup today.
Yeah, I'm excited to see things. I think Mr. Kizu switching up to Symmetra proved to be a very big pick for Cumberland Valley. Looks like VTG Orion was struggling a little bit with that. Ultimately, I mean, Dire Raven playing on Bastion, doing an exceptional job at that as well. So there are some things, you know, wondering if they're going to switch it up. You see Photon Dragon is going back to Ramatra. So we'll see how that plays off for him. I think having that reset there proved to be beneficial for him. But swapping back to Ramatra is kind of an interesting pick after it didn't work last round.
We do see Miles be switching off of Ashe and going to that Sojourn. I know Dire Raven does play quite a bit of Sojourn as well, as we've seen in previous matches. So I'm excited to see if he stays on that Bastion or if he does switch back over to that. Both teams trying to take this high ground right off the bat here. Cumberland Valley knowing VTG was going to go for it.
Huge boop coming from MBT.
And P Shooter taking out Pillow, Axel taking out Miles Me. A great push coming out of Cumberland Valley, knowing that VTG was going to take that high ground and they wanted to take it first. Cumberland Valley is going to go ahead and cap that point to start off the round.
MBT looking really low.
We do have Zeus switching over to Moira.
Photon Dragon going down here.
Really good picks back and forth right now. It is just Zeus on point. Dire Raven and P Shooter trying to get Pillow. It is just Zeus. Not. Photon is able to get there, but Zeus still goes down to P Shooter. You see the coalescence popped here, coming from Axel.
Maybe a little bit early, and we'll see if that comes back to bite them here in this next team fight.
We do see Cumberland Valley coming up on almost 3, maybe 4 ults here. Looking over at VTG Orion, they do have 3, maybe 4 as well.
Annihilation coming up for Photon Dragon here.
And there it is. You see wall popped by Kisu. Coalescence popped by Zeus as well to try and keep them alive. Beat from Pillow, there it is. And the return Annihilation coming from P-Shooter. Dire even taking out Pillow, Miles Me, and Photon getting Axel and P-Shooter there. Miles Me popping alt and able to get MBT, but Dire Raven does take down Miles Me in return. Zeus taking out Dire Raven. VTG does take the point.
And that was a great use of bomb there from Iris, preventing Kizu from using teleporter to get out.
Iris goes ahead and pops artillery.
MBT going down early in the fight to Aware.
Both teams just battling right here at this little choke. Cumberland Valley just trying to retake that point just one more time. Coalescence pop once again from Zeus. Aware taking out MBT, Iris taking out P-Shooter. You see VTG just pushing full speed ahead. Taking out Axel, Dire Raven, and Mr. Kisu.
Iris is playing a heck of a Bastion right now.
Agreed. I think the switch coming from Reaper to Bastion was a really good choice. There's that teleporter. And Photon goes ahead and pops Annihilation once again. P-Shooter taking out Miles Me, but Photon able to get Kisu with all. Iris taking out Axel and P-Shooter. And Aware getting Dire Raven. MBT able to stay on point to get Photon, but not able to live as Iris takes him out. Artillery is popped by Dire Raven. Cumberland Valley coming in with 3 alts. Looking over VTG, they do have 2 right now, loading up on 2 more as well.
P-Shooter going down, or sorry, Photon going down, Iris going down.
A great bomb by Dire Raven. They're taking out Miles Me. You see Zeus popping Coalescence to try and keep that point. And the first game goes to Cumberland Valley. A heck of a push right there at the end. Let's go ahead and see this new play of the game.
Great play coming from both teams. That was an exceptional play, and honestly, that last map there on Oasis, I wasn't sure who was going to come away with it. We were seeing lots of really good things from both teams there. I was on the edge of my seat, Jakey. I don't know about you.
I'll be honest, I thought VTG Orion had that last map, and then Cumberland Valley just came out of nowhere, and they pushed right through them, taking them out one by one, and they were able to cap that point. Overall, great gameplay from both teams. It was just constantly back and forth, all 3 maps. And I think we're going to have some pretty good games following this.
Yeah, I am excited. If that sets the tone for what we're going to see tonight, I am excited to be here for every second of it.
And like you said, both teams are trying to get their first win, and I think that is quite the motivation for them right now. As you can see from both teams with just their aggression, their synergy, the way they can play off of each other's abilities, knowing who's going to pop what and when, it's amazing.
Yeah, and we're coming up, so Control definitely different, entirely different play style. Aside from that of Flashpoint, entirely different play style because your team can kind of bunker down. With these moving objectives that are going to be coming up, it'll be interesting to see how the teams adjust at all if they need to. I mean, both teams are playing great with the team comps that they had, so we'll see if that has to change at all for these upcoming maps.
Yeah, as we saw in the first game, both teams not really making a lot of switches. Seems like they kind of know the team comp they want to run, and they're going to run that exactly. We did see a couple of changes with our DPS and our tanks, but eventually they did go ahead and switch back. I did really like the switch from Reaper to Bastion for Iris, knowing that Reaper kind of wasn't working right off the bat, and then Bastion came in. He was kind of walking through a couple people. So I'm excited to see what this next game brings.
Yeah, and it looks like both teams are ready, so we are going to be hopping into Escort at Shambali Monastery. Jakey, how do you feel about Shambali?
I'll be honest, I like this map. I do. That last point can be a little rough at times, especially if you're on the attacking team. But overall, I think it's a really good map.
Yeah, I know. If you remember, I believe it was Kaiju Core and Midnight Muses. That last hold that Midnight Muses had against Kaiju Core, that was here at Shambali, and it was right on that corner right before reaching first checkpoint. So definitely some really good spots to hold here. If you think of Circuit Royale, some of those corners can be really hard to turn. Thinking of Junkertown, that last corner going into the final checkpoint there to finish the map. Very good hold position for the defending team. I think Shambali has several points like that, rounding into that first point, and then again rounding into that second point. I mean, this map has a lot of great hold points, and I'm excited to see how both teams use that to their advantage and use the positioning to their advantage.
Of course, and looking at the teams here, I'm really excited to see some of this gameplay from VTG Orion. It looks like they do kind of have a complete hero roster change. Looking at their roster, we do see Zeus on Alari, and then we also see McCree, Baptiste, Bastion, Arisa, Cumberland Valley, kind of running that same composition here.
Hey Jakey, it's Overwatch 2. We're playing with Cassidy now.
Oh, I apologize.
Got him.
You see both teams just kind of back and forth right here. Miles Me is able to get up here on this high ground. Peace Cheater just kind of stuck back here with the Axel. Able to take down Iris, but a Werepillar takes out Dire Raven. Mr. Keith's able to take out Miles Me. Peace Shooter does take down that pylon fairly quick. You see Dire Raven coming back. MBT heading back to try and speed boost him up. Immor is dropped, taken down very quickly. Axel taking down Photon with Coalescence. Axel getting Miles Me as well as Zeus. Zeus getting Peace Shooter before he's able to get taken down. Dire Raven taking out Iris. Great hold by Cumberland Valley there. Once again, Dire Raven taking out that pylon super quick. Beat is dropped by MBT. Shooter might be popping Annihilation here soon. We do see him at 99. Iris popping Artillery. Photon also popping all as well as Zeus. Photon getting 2 there with Dire Raven and MBT. Iris taking out Axel. And then Photon finishing off Peace Shooter as well. Mr. Kisu is by himself here, trying to get out. Not quite able to as he goes down to Iris, though. Do you see Cumberland Valley looking at 3 ults here, potentially 4 if Axel can go ahead and get that built up fast enough. Looking over here at VTG Orion, they do have 2. Iris is at 50% though. You see that fortify from Photon.
Great wall from Kezu.
Huge blizzard. And then
Great
Dire
combo.
using that disadvantage and using that artillery to get 3, and then finishes off Miles Me as well.
Great combination with Kezu and Dire Raven. That worked out great.
And that's what I'm talking about right there, Zoran, is Cumberland Valley just knows when to use their abilities at the most opportune times. Dire Raven saw that blizzard pop and just took advantage of it right as he saw it.
MBT going down really early in this fight.
Does give VTG the upper hand here. Miles Me able to take out P-Shooter. Good wall there from Kisu, making them run around. That is trying to get a little bit more time on that tank. Dire Raven going down to Photon. Photon popping ult. Maybe not 100% necessary, but he wanted to confirm that they were going to cap that point. And we do see P-Shooter going down to Zeus. MBT going down to Miles Me. Cumberland Valley just needs to fall back and regroup here. But VTG Orion is just pushing full steam ahead. We see Aware just chilling on point, trying to push it. They are able to get Iris and Miles Me. Cumberland Valley, there we go, is going to have to take down that pylon. Did it right before I said it. There's the ult coming from Zeus.
Able to get 2. Both supports are down. It is just P-Shooter.
Mr. Kisu does get knocked down to the bottom. As you do see, VTG Orion does not have their DPS quite there yet. But Iris does pop artillery. Not quite able to get anyone, but Photon does finish off P-Shooter. Mr. Kiso still alive back here on this back line.
You had to say something.
I did. I apologize, Kisu. Iris just chasing down Axel, knowing that they used that fade, went into turret form and just finished him off. Cumberland Valley coming up on 2 ults here, potentially 4. VTG Orion the same way. There's Miles Me with the high noon and does get someone this time. Dire Raven going down to Miles Me as well there. Once again, Zeus just hanging back, pushing point. Ult pop by Photon is able to get Axel.
Axel having just used ult as well. Huge pick for VTG Orion.
You see MBT is coming back with B here. Could potentially hold this point. But once again, like I said, this is a rough last point to hold. There's that beat coming from MBT, not able to get P-Shooter in time.
Photon Dragon 8 Kizu!
A huge play coming from Photon, being able to eat that blizzard. There's the artillery pop, is able to get Aware. And Iris goes ahead and pops artillery in return, able to get Axel. P-Shooter coming out and popping Annihilation to try and clear off this point. It is just him right now. And he's not able to stay on long enough. I tell you what, Zoran, what a last few fights.
Wow. Wow, a lot happened.
So much happening.
A lot of credit going to Photon Dragon there. That was huge, huge eating Kizu's ult. I mean, that was absolutely clutch. Accidental or not, that quite possibly could have won them the team fight right there.
Most definitely, and we can't forget that moments before he did go ahead and shut down Axel, or I'm sorry, yeah, it was Axel's ult as well on Moira.
Yeah, you're not wrong. So shutting down 2 ults in that fight, incredible stuff. And I know I'm probably like, 10 minutes late on this, but Suko, I think you're 100% right when you said feels like this is going to be a close one. I couldn't agree more. I think this is going to be a very good matchup. There's not much to say on that.
Go ahead and drop your score predictions in the chat. We are playing 5 rounds, all the different game modes. Go ahead and let us know what you guys think it's going to be.
Dang, Jakey, you really making people decide right now after we've only seen one map?
Hey, I mean, to be fair, I had a prediction in my head. I'm not going to say it out loud because I don't want to sound biased to either team. But I did have a prediction in my head going into this. Granted, I have seen and played against these teams, so I do have a slight advantage in that, but I just kind of want to hear everyone else's input. You see VTG Orion once again playing that high ground. We know they like to be up there. Kisu is able to take down Pylon, but not able to get back out as he does go down to Aware. Iris taking out Dire Raven.
P-Shooter running out of bubbles here.
Shooter does have quite a bit of charge here, though. You see Axel taking out Zeus's Pylon once again. Immort dropped early. Zeus is able to take that out. Iris taking out Mr. Kisu with that bomb. P-Shooter able to get Photon Dragon.
Able to get 2.
Dire Raven is not aware. There's that artillery pop. Able to get the Immort and then Axel as well. Bastion v Bastion. You see P-Shooter just pushing super far ahead right now. Does go down to Iris.
And Cleanse used just a moment too soon.
A huge play there coming from Zeus, seeing that cleanse popped and then being able to go ahead and pop his ult in return. Iris taking out Dire Raven. GSP trying to stay alive here, but does go down to the dynamite from Ash. P-Shooter putting a little bit of pressure on VTG, trying to let his team recoup. Lot of poke damage coming from both teams. Cumberland Valley is going to go ahead and have to try and take out that pylon. Just as I say it, Mr. Kisu does exactly that. You see Photon pushing in pretty far there, is able to get Axel. Dire Raven goes down, or takes out Miles Me, I'm sorry. And Mr. Kisu goes down to Zeus. Photon able to get Dire Raven as well. Like you said before, there are some really good spots on here for the defending team to go ahead and hold, and I think VTG Orion is taking charge of that. They know exactly where they want to hold, having played attack first, and they're just taking advantage of it when they can and playing with some great aggression right now. We do see Bob pop there, as well as artillery and window coming from VTG Orion.
There it is.
That is a kill. Overall, some great ult usage there, and we do see that VTG Orion does have 2 left. Cumberland Valley does have 3 of their own. Do see Mr. Kisu switching over to Genji, MBT switching to Kiriko. Dire Raven able to get Zeus with the artillery. VTG is able to... There's the ult popped from P-Shooter. Cumberland Valley pushing full strength out there, able to go ahead and cap that point. I do think that this is exactly where VTG Orion could excel here. They do have that higher ground, and we know that's where they like to play. They play strong there. He's able to take out Axel. P-Shooter taking down Iris. You see Casey jumping up here to take down Miles Me. Does pop Blade. Getting bubbled as well, able to take down Aware. Raven taking out Zeus. Mr. Kesey not able to get Photon. Do see VTG falling back though as their team has to regroup.
You see P-Shooter just slowly losing charge, so taking that moment to regroup, not only beneficial for your team in terms of just regrouping, but also getting a little bit of charge away.
You see Raven taking out Zeus's pylon early, as well as Iris taking out the Immort. Raven getting two there with Miles Me and Photon. Iris taking out Axel in return. Cumberland Valley able to get some really good movement here on this payload. Do you see Photon switching back to the Ramatra he was playing earlier? Artillery popped by Iris. And a return artillery and rush coming back from Cumberland. Both teams not quite having any ults to use at the moment. P-Shooter is at 96, able to get his soon.
Huge grab.
P-Shooter taking down Zeus and Photon. Mr. Kesey able to take out Aware. Milesley was able to touch. Iris able to touch as well, but they just couldn't hold on long enough.
Wow. I was nervous. I thought VTG Orion had them held at the first checkpoint, but once Cumberland Valley got that first checkpoint, man, I'm telling you, they just kept on going.
That, and it looked like VTG Orion kind of gave them a little bit of space, maybe too much. Like you did say, they did get Zarya to lose a little bit of charge, but they might have waited a little too long to push in there. Gave Cumberland Valley just enough distance for them to be able to push all the way. Looks like Photon is going to go back to Orisa. Iris kind of toying with us right there. Did pick Echo, but switching back over to Bastion. Looking over here at Cumberland Valley, we got Kesey switching back to the Symmetra. P-Shooter staying on Zarya. MBT, Axel, and Raven all staying on the characters they've been playing.
Both teams having just over a minute, so VTG Orion minute 16, Cumberland Valley having that minute and a half. So we'll see if that extra 14 seconds proves beneficial, but we got to see what VTG Orion can do on offense first.
Iris once again toying with this, came out as Echo instead of that Bastion. Mr. Kesey does go down to Iris. Photon able to take out P-Shooter as well. Iris in that room by himself with Raven able to take him down. Axel goes down on point. MBT going down to Photon.
Huge team fight coming from VTG Orion. I think swapping to Echo ended up proving to be rather beneficial.
You see 15 seconds left on the clock. Iris is able to copy Zarya. VTG does have 2 tanks now. Let's see how that works for them. There's the grab coming from Iris. Able to get 3 in there, but not quite able to finish him off. Milesby does get 2 there. Photon getting 1 with ult. Milesby getting a 3rd with on P-Shooter. VTG is able to cap the first point, although they are gonna have to push on just overtime from now on.
And with that overtime started, respawn times are going to be longer, and overtime is going to drop faster. So they're really going to have to put all they've got into this push here.
We do see VTG pushing up, trying to get a little bit more distance on the payload. Ball is popped here from Mr. Kisu. Grab from P-Shooter there. Kisu able to take out 3. And that is the end of round 3.
Wow.
They were able to push off VTG just enough.
I mean, when it comes to overtime, I think a lot of it can be just being able to use your ults wisely. So I think Cumberland Valley was able to do that very well. And they used Symmetra ult there. They used artillery. And they used Grav there, and it ultimately proved extremely beneficial in order to finalize that round. So now they're going to have the hard task. We saw them struggle quite a bit pushing to that first checkpoint. So now they're going to have the hard task of doing that again and more in order to come away with this second map.
That and another thing with overtime, you don't necessarily have to get those kills. As long as you use your abilities and play with your team enough to be able to make space, you could potentially just push them off. Especially with how long that overtime was going, it does drop faster, as you said. Looks like Photon is going to switch over to Sigma. Mr. Kisu going back over to the Genji. Axel switching to Ana. I think they might be looking for a Nano Blade here, Zoran.
Could be. I've heard a lot of really good things about Rush Blade too, though. Being able to get off a lot more swings could potentially maximize damage.
Hey now,
with that rush
we might see a Rush Nano Blade. That would be pretty crazy.
That would be insane.
I don't know about you, but if I were VTG Orion and I saw a Rush Nano Blade coming, I'd be pretty scared. You see both teams getting a lot of poke damage, not quite any like major damage done quite yet. And as I say that, we see MBT getting super low here. Dire Raven getting bubbled as he goes into turret form. We do see the cleanse get popped there by MBT. Mr. Kisu battling up there on that high ground. Able to push him off.
Dire Raven the first to go down.
That could be crucial.
Kisu able to get Iris down. Huge anti.
Huge anti. Kisu does go down to Photon. P-Shooter just pushing ahead. Kind of the same thing that VTG did, pushing ahead, trying to get the rest of their team to push that cart. You do see MBT go down to Aware there. Axel and Dire Raven just kind of trapped in a corner right here, waiting on their team. There's the Nano on Dire Raven. Is at 75%. Dire Raven at 61. There's the high noon coming from Milesby. Able to get P-Shooter. Oh, we're taking out Dire Raven. Iris getting MBT. It is overtime already. Kisu was holding on to that point, but not able to stay there long enough. And that is game 2 to VTG Orion. All I can say is wow.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say there, Jakey.
Just so much happening constantly. Both teams just back and forth in those team fights. Did see Cumberland Valley come away with a win on that first game. Game two did go to VTG Orion. I tell you what, Zoran, both teams really want this win tonight, and you can definitely see it.
Yeah, I mean, overall impressive stuff coming from both teams so far. I yeah, I don't even know what to say. But I can tell you, seeing that first point from Cumberland Valley, I knew that overtime was going to be a little bit of a struggle. So having that happen, I could have seen that happening, and I think it came exactly as I had predicted there. I'm not going to say I'm some sort of soothsayer, but that was definitely the most difficult part for Cumberland Valley. After that, they did pretty well. So with that overtime coming so soon, that proved to be pretty detrimental to the rest of the map there. But it looks like we are going to be interviewing Photon from VTG Orion. We're going to be pulling them in 3, 2, and 1. Hey, what's up, Photon? How you doing?
Doing well. How are y'all?
Oh, doing great, doing great. Seeing some really good things from you on tank, especially there on that last map, being able to really counter Cumberland Valley. What are some things that you've seen so far that Cumberland Valley has been doing that your team maybe has had to adjust around?
Their comp swaps definitely have kind of thrown us for a loop with the Zarya pick into my Orisa. It was a little tough on the attack on our defense there the first time, but the second time we switched to Sig, just a little bit of more sustainability there on low ground, and we put our cast there as well, so we could put a bit more pressure on their back line instead of letting them free cast.
Yeah, yeah. I'd say it proved to be pretty beneficial. I was just telling everyone on stream and Jakey here, that first checkpoint on Shambali, I mean, you guys held them very well. What are some things that you think really maximize the potential to be able to hold that first checkpoint there?
Definitely our supports, Zeus and Aware, taking down the fort and keeping us all alive there. Those some huge lamps at the end there.
Yeah, yeah. I couldn't agree more with that. Jakey, what do you got for Photon?
My biggest question is, how are you guys feeling going into the rest of this matchup? You guys did lose game one. You brought back game two. What are you thinking?
We're feeling extremely confident. Map one was super close. We could have won it, but we were kind of inching there at the end. But we got this.
And knowing you guys are trying to get your first win here, is there something that maybe you guys have been working on, like majority wise?
Definitely just clearing up our comms and talking, and because we're definitely a younger team. Zeus and I have been playing together for about a year now, so we're really the core, but just getting everyone comfortable with each other in comms.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really all I got for you, unless Zoran has anything else.
Well, I gotta know. So you're a tank player. You've been playing a pretty good tank. Who's your favorite tank to play, regardless of comp? Throw that away. Who's your go-to tank if you're just having fun?
Either Doomfist or Malga.
Doomfist or Malga, I love that. How do you feel about those recent buffs and then them dropping his health and everything shortly after?
They let us Malga mains have 2 days of fun and said nope.
Well, all right. Well, hey, that is all we've got so far for you. It's looking great. I'm excited to see the rest of the matchup. And good luck to VTG Orion.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me on.
For sure. Alrighty, well, everyone, that was Photon Dragon for VTG Orion playing tank. Definitely glad to have him on board here for this interview. I am excited to see this upcoming matchup. It'll be interesting to see, so it being a hybrid as opposed to escort. So there's going to be a little bit of that control element to it. But overall, VTG Orion has done a really good job competing with Cumberland Valley, and vice versa. Cumberland Valley has done a really good job What are some things that you think, I guess either team, Jakey, that could maybe improve on in order to maximize potential here, in order to get that point captured pretty quick and get that payload moving?
Looking at VTG Orion, like I said before, they did kind of back off and regroup. And like you said, that this opposing Zarya was losing charge off of that. I would like to see them kind of maybe get a little bit more aggressive earlier instead of waiting so long, because I do feel like that was maybe kind of why Cumberland Valley got so much distance on that point. And from Cumberland Valley, I hate to pick out Pea Shooter, but I think especially in the situation that he was in right there at the end, maybe just kind of playing more as a team. We did see him kind of push up a little bit, and I think that was kind of where things started to go wrong for them.
Sure. All right.
Overall, can't take away anything from either team, though.
Yeah, I mean, like Photon said, I mean, some really good support play coming from Zeus and Aware there. So definitely proving to be very good. I think definitely, like you were saying, Pea Shooter got aggressive at some point, a couple times, and kind of isolated themselves from the rest of the team. So I honestly think that if they just really bunker down on that and really play, I would say, I mean, they're not playing poorly as a team by any means, but if they play just a little bit better, the games could be a lot. There could be a bigger gap in these games. But I'm excited to see. So we've got Hybrid at Hollywood. Excited to see what this is going to look like here.
Yeah, and for all we know, maybe that might have been a miscommunication on the comm side. But I think maybe if they clean that up a little bit, I think this is definitely going to be even closer of a game.
Yeah. And we see, so Pea Shooter's sticking with Ramatra here, going back to what they were using there on Control. Photon sticking with Orisa. Could prove to be a little bit of a hindrance there for Pea Shooter, but overall we've seen some really great Ramatra gameplay from Pea Shooter. So definitely not something that can't be overcome, but it'll be exciting to see that matchup as well. Zeus sticking with Alari, Miles Me sticking with that Cassidy, Aware again on Baptiste and Iris. Loved seeing that switch on Echo, so I'm excited to see that. Meanwhile, Kizu is switching to Sombra. I'm excited to see some Sombra gameplay here.
We definitely haven't seen a lot of Sombra in this league, so I'm interested to maybe see how that works out for him. And then, as I said earlier, we have seen Dire Raven on Sojourn quite a bit, and that's what he is playing. Do you see Cumberland Valley coming in really aggressive there? Kisu able to take out Miles, man. Dire Raven taking up that high ground. You see Kisu back here trying to pick on the supports a little bit. Is able to take down Aware. Not quite able to get out as Zeus comes in to help. Cumberland Valley is up right now. Iris taking out MBT. Zeus taking out Dire Raven. Axel able to take out Zeus. Pea Shooter taking out Photon and Miles Me there. It is just Iris here on point. She does go down to Axel. A great starting push coming from Cumberland Valley there.
Yeah. You know, those first two picks coming from Kizu definitely shifted the balance a little bit right from the start. But ultimately, it started to even out a little bit. Cumberland Valley coming away with it, doing some great things together as a team there.
DC once again trying to pick on the supports in the backline here. Is able to get out. Looking really low though. And get some major support there. Zeus does take out MBT though. Pea Shooter taking down that pylon early. Miles Me able to take out Mr. Kisu. Coalescence is popped by Axel here. And Photon with the ult to respond to that is able to get MBT. Miles Me taking out Dire Raven and Irish taking out Pea Shooter. You see Kisu getting that hacking virus off and kind of getting out real quick. You see both teams holding on to 2 ults right now. There's the ult coming from Zeus.
Blocked.
EMP and Annihilation popped here by Cumberland Valley.
Definitely a great
Axel getting
combo.
through there. I think Cumberland Valley definitely wanted to push up a little bit more there, but they were going to leave point behind. Miles be able to take out Mr. Kisu back here. We do see Miles Me taking that high ground once again. Pops the high noon. Is able to get 2.
Wow.
Does go down to Mr. Kisu though. Kisu getting Zeus as well. Photon getting Axel. Photon getting P Shooter and Aware getting Mr. Kisu there to try before they could get out. Once again, we just see this constant back and forth action coming from both teams.
Cumberland Valley a little more than halfway to that first checkpoint here. P-Shooter switching back to Zarya to really try and shut down Photon's Orisa here.
As Photon said, that was a little bit of a struggle for them at first, but I think knowing that that is a possibility for them to go against, I think they can definitely adapt to it. Do you see Iris copy the Lucio there? You see Dire Raven popping all, taking out Iris. Miles Me taking out Dire Raven in return, as well as Mr. Kisu. Photon taking out P-Shooter, but after walking right past him, trying to bully that backline a little bit. Photon able to get MBT. You see Cumberland Valley regrouping here. Mr. Kisu hanging in this backline, kind of waiting for his opportunity. You see Iris on Sojourn now as well. Mr. Kisu able to take down Iris.
Miles
and
Me
Miles Me
shut
does
down.
What a play there for Miles Me shutting down that EMP. And Zeus was able to get MBT with that Sunstrike. Cumberland Valley getting a little bit of leeway here, able to push the point a little bit further. Photon coming right on the point. Altane not quite able to get anyone, but does finish off P-Shooter right after. Axel taking out Miles Me with Coalescence. Finishing Aware with that skill orb there. This is just Photon on point, and not able to stay long enough. Mr. Kisu does take him down.
And with just 17 seconds left, Cumberland Valley able to get to that first checkpoint there.
An amazing push coming from Cumberland Valley there.
Looks like Miles Me is looking for a flank high noon maybe.
I wouldn't be surprised. We have seen a couple times now. Looks like he is going to go for it here. Is able to get MBT. Photon taking down P-Shooter. Mr. Kisu taking out Miles Me in return. Iris getting Axel. Both teams just kind of holding their ground right now. You see Mr. Kisu kind of going behind there. Miles Me is up top. Does go down to Mr. Kisu. Aware not able to get that cleanse off in time. Dire Raven getting Iris, Axel getting Zeus. A huge ult from Sig there, but does get hacked out of it. MBT taking on Photon and Aware. And that is round 1.
That was
a huge play coming from Mr. Kisu there, hacking Sigma out of his ult.
Yeah. I mean, that was crazy. I gotta be honest. I mean, just watching that right there at the end, Kisu able to get that hack on Photon to stop that ult, huge play. But like right at the end, just like when capturing that first checkpoint or getting the payload to that first checkpoint, Cumberland Valley coming in clutch right there at the end.
Of course, if that Sigma ult does get off, that is a crucial play for VTG Orion, and Mr. Kisu did a really good job at reading that. We are going to go ahead and switch up sides here. Looks like Miles Me is going to switch over to Widow. Iris switching to Bastion. Cumberland Valley looks like they are going to go ahead and keep that same comp. Aware going back over to Lucio. Pea Shooter up pretty far here. Not quite sure what's going on.
Just scouting out the other team, Jakey. Just figuring some things out. That's all.
Looks like he's having a little bit of fun here. You see Mr. Kisu once again up here pushing on that Sombra. Photon is back on Ramatra. MBT playing the backline, booping VTG Orion forward. It does go down to Iris though, as well as Pea Shooter. Photon getting Dire Raven. Mr. Kisu is able to take down Zeus. Iris taking down Axel. Mr. Kisu goes down to Aware.
That is
really
be,
early capture there.
Yeah, swift take from VTG Orion.
DCP Shooter switching back over to Ramatra. Miles Me switching to Tracer. Zeus does take out Dire Raven there. Miles Me taking out Pea Shooter as well. Go ahead and try and get Aware. Not quite able to finish him off, but does get out before going down himself. Dire Raven switching over to Reaper now.
I mean, I gotta say, Iris is popping off right now.
There's the Coalescence coming from Zeus. We do see Axel taking down Photon. And a return Coalescence coming from Axel. Iris with a huge bomb to kill Mr. Kisu. Dire Raven taking out Iris. But does go down to Aware.
Axel able to get Miles Me down.
Aware taking out MBT. Photon taking out Axel. Dire Raven working really hard to try and get Photon there, but not quite able to. Aware taking out 2. And VTG does make it to that first point.
I love the aggression coming from Photon Dragon here.
You see Mr. Kesey just kind of hanging out in their backline, waiting for the opportune moment. Might be waiting for Miles Me to go ahead and leave point. Doesn't look like they're going to. Huge EMP coming from Mr. Kesey there. Annihilation from P-Shooter as well. Mr. Kesey getting 2, P-Shooter getting 1 as well. Dire Raven getting Iris. A great push coming from Cumberland Valley there.
Yeah, I mean, that was a clean take coming from Cumberland Valley. Definitely killing quite a bit of time here. Did use 3 ults, though. Dropped beat, used Annihilation and EMP. So now they have Coalescence coming up and Death Blossom. But not a lot. Aware taking down Kisu really early in the fight here.
There's the artillery coming from Iris. Able to get MBT there. There's the Death Blossom from Dire Raven. Able to take out Iris. P-Shooter taking down Aware. Dire Raven taking down Photon before he does go down to Zeus.
Those are great.
Mr. Kisu is switching back over to Symmetra.
Iris playing Pharah now.
Iris taking out MBT, Photon getting Mr. Kisu. Knowing that Cumberland Valley isn't playing a hit scan character is a huge advantage for Iris right now. Photon taking out Dire Raven. Iris getting P-Shooter. Photon popping the Annihilation.
Photon going all the way to touch Spawn Door here.
Mr. Kisu running in on Soldier here, trying to get that touch, but not quite able to. And that is round 2. Once again, both teams finishing the full map, although this time there is quite the time difference.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say, VTG played a very clean map this round. So they just have to do it again. I mean, I know that sounds really simple and really maybe stupid to say, but I mean, ultimately, right, Jakey? I mean, if they just do exactly what they did last time, better, faster, I don't know that Cumberland Valley's going to be able to recover them from that.
Oh, of course. And like we saw in that last game, Cumberland Valley did get a little bit over aggressive, especially in that overtime moment in their last round. So I'm hoping they maybe kind of fix that or discuss that a little bit, and we'll see if they can pull it out. Do you see MBT playing Lifeweaver? Mr. Kisu going over to Pharah. MBT did switch over to Baptiste. Axel playing Mercy. P-Shooter on Orisa. Dire Raven on Bastion. Coming from VTG, we have Photon on Ramatra. Iris on Bastion. Aware on Lucio. Miles Me on Tracer. And Zeus on Moira.
Immortality used already.
Very early. Looks like we do have a pharmacy going on right here. BTG is playing a Bastion though, so they are going to have to be a little bit more careful. Dire Raven able to take out Iris. P-Shooter taking out Photon. Kisu is able to play a little bit more aggressive here, knowing the Bastion is down. Dire Raven taking out Miles Me. Kisu getting Aware. It is just Zeus. And Zeus goes down to Dire Raven.
And that was the swift take that Cumberland Valley needed.
It is on overtime now, though, already. So Cumberland Valley is going to have to play close and tight right here on this point. You see Iris switching back to Echo. There's that Valk pop there by Axel. Cumberland Valley coming up on 4 ults. There's the coalescence pop by Zeus. Kisu able to get one, but does go down to Zeus. They do have window here. Axel able to get the res, but then does go down to Zeus. Dire Raven getting Photon. P-Shooter popping on here, trying to create space. Kisu and MBT looking really low here. Miles me helping Axel get back to the team a little bit faster there. DC Iris does copy Baptiste here, gets the Immort out. Dire Raven does take down the copy. Photon able to get MBT. Iris taking out Dire Raven and Photon getting Axel.
And that's going to be it.
Overall, a heck of a push there coming from Cumberland Valley, though, especially with only having a minute on the clock and then holding overtime for that long. Cumberland Valley does have a little bit of a disadvantage here time-wise, having to hold VTG for almost 4 whole minutes and not letting them push very far.
Well, if you remember from the first time the VTG was on offense, they took point pretty quick. They had 5 minutes left on that clock. So we'll see what happens here.
Indeed. You see Iris going back over to the Bastion. Miles Me switching back to Tracer. Cumberland Valley running about the same comp, but we do see Mr. Kisu switching over to Reaper once again.
It'll be interesting to see a very different team comp that Cumberland Valley is running with this time around. We'll see how that plays off for them, and hopefully they can hold VTG Orion away from the point a little bit longer than they did last time.
Do you see Iris taking down P-Shooter early there? Dire Raven getting Iris in return, though. Aware taking out MBT. Once again, VTG Orion just pushing full force straight through all the way to the point. Dire Raven hopping down from that high ground and goes down to Aware. Iris taking out Axel. P-Shooter was trying to get a touch there, but goes down to Zeus. Granted, they did cap that point in about the same time that Cumberland Valley did, but they do have 3 extra minutes.
Definitely not an impossible task, but a more difficult one, that's for sure.
Agreed. We do see VTG pushing up quite a ways here, trying to just keep that space. Zeus is just hanging back on point by himself. Dire Raven able to take out Iris. A good first pick here to try and initiate this fight. Kisu getting behind Photon there. Pulse Bomb is popped, but not able to get anyone. Dire Raven taking down Photon. Zeus taking down MBT with that skill orb. Mr. Kisu getting Miles Me. P-Shooter taking out Zeus.
Now just down to a little under 2 minutes. One has to ask the question, Cumberland Valley, are they going to hold on to those ults that they've got till the time runs down a little bit farther? Are they going to start using them here to counter?
We do see Nano popped onto Dire Raven. P-Shooter goes ahead and pops ult as well as artillery coming from Dire Raven and Death Blossom. Photon does pop Annihilation there. did see quite a bit of alt domino there. I'm not gonna lie, Zoran. I would have liked to see maybe Cumberland Valley hold on to those and play them off of each other just a little bit more, especially closer to this point, knowing how close it was.
Yeah. And unfortunately, P-Shooter was in the position where they had to push, and they couldn't hold on to it.
And that is game 3 to VTG Orion. Once again, a great game coming from both teams. I tell you what, Zoran, I don't want to sound biased to the rest of the teams in this league, but I think this might be our most exciting matchup yet. Both teams just constantly back and forth, having really close team fights most of the time.
I'd have to agree with you there, Jakey. I will say right now, so I'm discussing with the captains here. Unfortunately, some drawback from Cumberland Valley, so they are a high school esports team. Looks like they are going to try and they won a 4v5 the last map. I guess I didn't really have any specific rules for 4v5, but if Cumberland Valley wants to try it, they certainly can.
My bad, chat. Sorry to be quiet on you guys. I was just kind of reading the in-game chat just a little bit. Looks like we are going to continue with Cumberland Valley doing a 4v5. I'll be honest, I'm very excited to see this.
I mean, it'll be interesting to say
Interesting?
the least. Yeah, I mean, they were close games as is, and with Cumberland Valley having lost a player, unfortunately, that's not going to be a real good thing for them. I'm glad that they're willing to stick it out and play this last, what could be the last deciding match, but quite unfortunate there.
Tell you what, though, Zoran, there is still a chance for them to keep it close. Once again, it could just depend on how they play. As long as I feel like as long as they play together and as a team, that they could still maybe win a couple fights, even if they think they might not be able to. But it's definitely going to take a lot of battling. They're going to have to work us on definitely focusing certain targets, knowing who to pick out and when. But I'm interested to see how it plays out.
Sure. And it looks like VTG Orion is going to call a timeout in a sort of sense. They're just asking for a little bit more time in doing that. As we were taking the short break, I want to let everyone know, and I will make sure to say this at the end of the stream here. So after this match, this will be what wraps up round 4. So stay tuned as tomorrow, which will be the matchup between XL2 and Kaiju Core. It'll be starting off round 5, and we will be receiving the weekly MVP for round 4 as well. So you'll want to be sure you don't want to miss that. You don't want to miss that announcement. but that's going to be at 8 p.m. EST. And then following that, so we do have a rare Friday matchup, but definitely not one you want to miss. We have got J Dynasty hoping to retake their number 1 spot from Kaiju Corps, going up against Wyoming Cowboys. Definitely going to be an exciting matchup, and I don't think you want to miss those. But those are going to be what close out this, I'll say, calendar week. But again, this is going to be, this match here is the end of round 4. Well, I guess, yeah, J Dynasty in Wyoming is still a part of round 4. So it looks like I have some technicalities to work through to figure out how we're going to figure out MVP here. I'm doing this all live on stream, so just bear with me here as I'm thinking this through. Otherwise, so then on the 25th at 8 p.m. EST again, we've got Midnight Muses and Respawn Rangers. Definitely another very exciting matchup. And, yeah, I mean, so far, especially just starting in round 4 going on now, we've had a lot of really exciting matchups, so you don't want to miss those coming up.
Yeah, go Respawn Rangers.
All right, Jakey.
I'm a little biased, chat. I'm sorry.
I'm excited for these matchups. I think XL2 and Kaiju Corps will be a pretty good matchup. Kaiju Corps, very strong team. XL2 has shown some really good things. I think what could or could not be a hindrance on their team would be if all their starters are present right from the beginning. So that'll definitely make or break XL2 against a very strong team like Kaiju Corps. And then J Dynasty in Wyoming, I mean, you got to know that's going to be a good match.
Definitely, once again, 2 really good teams.
I'm not going to talk about the Respawn Rangers matchup, Jakey, because you're a little bit biased.
I won't say anything. If I will let you speak your piece about it, I will not say anything, since I am technically a part of that team.
I'm just not going to say anything. How's that?
Hey, that's fine. That's fine.
But so far we've seen a really close matchup between these two teams, and I gotta admit it'd be pretty interesting to see if Cumberland Valley is going to be able to come away with this next map. This next map could be the deciding factor in who comes away with this win. So really unfortunate to have a player leave, but sometimes that's the way things work.
And we do see Photon here switching over to that Doomfist. We know he did say he likes to play Doomfist. Miles Me also switching over to Widow. Looking over, we do have Pea Shooter on Hog, maybe just to try and sustain the fact that they are down a support right now. Photon jumping in early. Mr. Kisu battling Iris and Aware back there. Able to get out. I'm sorry, is not able to get out. Goes down to Iris. Aware taking out Axel. Dire able to get Iris though. Pea Shooter was kind of just stuck down there. Miles Me taking out Dire Raven. Photon taking out Pea Shooter.
Looks like we may have a little bit of a Widow 1v1 going on here.
Dire Raven getting super low there. Mr. Kisu also getting low, but does go down to Aware. Miles Me taking out Dire Raven, but not before Dire Raven can get Photon. Miles Me does get Mr. Kisu once again. Iris taking down Pea Shooter. Miles and Me does take down Axel, but not before Axel can get down Photon. Iris taking down Dire Raven there. Peace Shooter and Mr. Kishu hanging around on point. Iris taking down Dire Raven. Aware getting down Peace Shooter. Blade is popped. Mr. Kishu taking down Aware. Iris getting Axel with the blade. Mr. Kishu able to take down Miles Me. UC Cumberland Valley is able to go ahead and take control of this robot. He is dropped by Aware. Dire Raven and Axel both popping ults as well. Iris taking down Dire Raven. Mr. Kishu getting Miles Me once again. Iris getting Axel as well. Big EMP coming from Mr. Kishu there. P-Shooter able to take out Iris off of that. Aware is able to take down Mr. Kishu. Kishu once again trying to get into that back line. Looks like he is going to rejoin the team here. P-Shooter able to rope in the Malga. Once again pulling in Photon, but does go down to Aware. Iris getting Kishu, Aware getting Axel, and Dire Raven as well. UC sites are popped by Miles Me. Rush and Blade popped here. Rush coming from both teams. P-Shooter popping Whole Hog. Does go down to Iris though. Miles Me taking out Dire Raven right there. Mr. Kishu did switch over to Cassidy. P-Shooter on Zarya. He is dropped by Aware. Able to take out Mr. Kishu. Iris getting Axel. Zeus getting P-Shooter.
Alrighty, and that is going to be the official win for VTG Orion. So we are going to confer with the teams here to see if they would like to continue playing down 4. Definitely the option is up to them, but we just want to make sure here. Jakey, what did you think of that that last one?
I mean, Cumberland Valley was clearly at the disadvantage being down one person, but I definitely think they still played well. Uh, we did see P Shooter on Hog just to try and maybe make up for that lost healer. Support. I'm sorry, support. Um, but like I said, they played together as a team most of the time, and they were able to win some of those team fights. Once again, it was just being down that one player just kind of hurt them quite a bit, and they weren't able to quite pull that through. I will say props to them for willing to play that 4v5 instead of just kind of giving up on it.
Well, after conferring with the captain, sorry, I don't mean to just abruptly end that conversation. After talking with the captains have decided they do want to play this one. We will still count it for points, but we are going to be playing Assault. So 2 CP, and we're going to be playing at Hanamura.
I'm going to be honest with you, Zoran. This was probably one of my favorite looking maps of Overwatch 1. I wouldn't say it was my favorite to play. I think 2CP was rough at times for a lot of people, especially on that second point. But I'm excited to see it come back. And seeing how this goes, maybe potentially we could do like a special event or something in the future.
Yeah, it is definitely possible. I can't disclose whether or not that is or is not confirmed to be something that we're working on, but definitely something we have looked into, opening that up as a possibility in the future here, allowing that 2CP game mode to be played. We also, well, you know what? We have got some news that we'll be releasing at some point. So if you're not in the Discord server, you should join and check it out to catch everything firsthand. But until then, we're going to keep our mouths shut.
Link is in the description. Go
Link is
click
in
it.
the description. Yeah, click it. Join.
Even if you're not a part of a team and you just want to maybe come hang out, click it.
To explain to those of you who weren't here when we decided or when things happened, so we are playing 4v5. Cumberland Valley unfortunately did have to have a player leave, so they are playing down a player. They were okay with doing that, and I allowed that to happen. That way the last two maps weren't forfeited. I do admire Axel's mindset here, every game being winnable. I gotta say, being down one player definitely is quite a bit of a hindrance, but I can't say it's unwinnable. So I do have to say I do wish the best of luck to Cumberland Valley playing down a player. But
Definitely.
yeah.
It's definitely going to be quite the battle, but I think Cumberland Valley, especially seeing the gameplay we've had first three games, I'm sorry, I think that they could definitely have a chance.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that, JK. I mean, the games have been very close, and I'm going to be honest, I am incredibly sad to say that the teams will not get to finish out this map entirely, but unfortunately that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Did you see Miles be up here pretty high playing Widow? Miles Me does drop down. P Shooter going in to try and get a pick. Does get pinned though by Photon. You see Mr. Kisu trying to get out there. It does look like they did. Mr. Kisu did swap roles over to support to try and make up for that. And Miles me able to just go ahead and get that pick. Once again, playing up top. Photon trying to get that sneaky little pin there. Does miss. Dire Raven taking out Iris. Photon able to get Dire Raven in return. Nano right there on Photon taking down Pea Shooter. Mr. Kisu able to get the res on Dire Raven. Axel trying to get Miles me up top. DC Valkyrie is popped. Cumberland Valley does have all 4 ults here. DC Artillery used, is able to get aware. But then Dire Raven does go down to Photon. Photon dropping the shatter but not able to get anyone. Missing the pin as well. Annihilation is popped from Pea Shooter, able to take down Photon, but then does get slept by Aware. Axel taking down Iris. Zeus taking down Pea Shooter but does get rezzed by Mr. Kisu. Miles me able to take down Dire Raven and Mr. Kisu there. Do you see a little bit of a Rhine duel here now? And that is map 5 to VTG Orion. little bit of a technical difficulty for a second, but we did get things figured out.
Yeah, so that was interesting. I apologize for the technical difficulties there. Um, yeah, a lot went wrong right there, and I apologize for that. But that is going to be the game. So VTG Orion, unfortunately, had the benefit of playing the last two maps, which the fourth map did matter, but the last two maps they got to play without or play a 4v5. So VTG Orion definitely very well played, and I would say a well-deserved win coming from them. Unfortunately, it did end the way that it did, but no complaints for all the fights, at least in the 5v5 games that we got to see. So definitely really excited for that. But anyhow, with that being said, that is going to be the match coming up on your screen. You're going to be seeing our socials here real quick. If you did enjoy what you saw, at least for the first couple maps or even toward the end, getting to see a little bit of that 2CP, which was a little bit unplanned, on your screen. Man, now I have the hiccups. Everything's just going wrong. On your screen, you should be seeing here, it's going to be the social links. We are still growing as a community, so if you wouldn't mind dropping us a like or a follow or subscribing to our channel, we would greatly appreciate that. Again, we are still trying to grow, but thank you everyone for being here. Thank you to the players who could be here, both from Cumberland Valley and VTG Orion. And of course, Jakey, thank you for being here. Really appreciate you commentating with me tonight. But until then, like I said, we do have another match, which is we're going to do a little bit of a bleed into round 5. So that's going to be XL2 going up against Kaiju Core. That is going to be tomorrow at 8 p.m. EST. Love to see you there. Support both these teams. Definitely going to be a good matchup, and I'm excited to see that. But until tomorrow, I hope you all have a good night, and we will see you then.